701. A field or a part of a garden where fruit trees grow. Orchard. The ceremony at which a man become a priest. Ordination. A factory where military materials are produced is ordnance. A person of Asian, especially East Asian descent. Oriental. A branch of zoology that studies birds. Ornithology, study of mountains. Orography, one who has lost parents. Orphan, a home for orphans. Orphanage, specialist who straightens teeth. Orthodontist, study of correct spelling of words. Orthography, medical specialty dealing with bones and joints. Orthopedics, fear of property. Orthopophobia, one who looks after horses at an inn. Hostler, and to expel from society. Ostracize, a large bird reputed to bury its head in sand when pursued. Orchid, dungeon entered by trapdoor. Obliter, cast out as useless. Outcast, policeman riding on motorcycle as a guard to a VIP outriders. One who believes in the total abolition of war is pacifist. A person who is specialist in child diseases. Pediatrician, person who does not believe in any. Pagan, food which agrees with one's taste is palatable. The study of ancient writing. Paleography, study of fossils. Paleontology is a remedy for all disease. Panacea, government run universally. Panarchy, a speech or writing praising a person or a thing. Panegyric, person who believes that God is everything and everything is God. Pantheist, a dumb show. Pantomime, a lover, especially one who unlawfully takes the position of a wife or a husband, is paramour. One who lives on others, parasite. A lady's umbrella is parasol, funny imitation of a poem. Parody, pledge given by a prisoner for temporary release not to escape. Payroll, murder of one's parents is parricide. It should be patricide. Sole right to make and sell home invention. Patent, one who examines tissues under a microscope to diagnose diseases. Pathologist, study of disease. Pathology, murder of father. Patricide, property inherited from forefathers is patrimony. One who loves own country is patriot. One a person who is very poor is pauper. Principle of teaching is pedagogy. One who makes a vain display of his knowledge is pedant. A study in which a writer makes a display of his knowledge is pedantic. One who goes on foot. Pedestrian. The specialist who treats a childhood illness is pediatrician. To remove the skin of potato and oranges is peel. Equal in rank, peer, a small enclosure or a cattle ship for and poultry pen. 751. Fear of poverty is pennyphobia. Land so surrounded by water as to almost an Iceland is peninsula. Payment made in consideration of past service pension. Specialist who treats disease of the gum is Periodontist. Be the embodiment or the perfect example is personify. A person who looks at the darker side of things is pessimist, fear of becoming bald, phalacrophobia. One who engages in the extramarital sex is philander. One who amuses himself by lovemaking is philanderer. One who is interested in charitable work is philanthropist. One who collects stamps is philatelist. Study of stamps collection, philately. One who does not care for art and literature, philistine. A lover of womankind is philogynist. One who works for the welfare of the woman is philogynist, feminist. The study of languages is philology. Lover of learning is philomath. A lover of property and art, philomuse. A lover of arts is philotechnique. A lover of God is philotheist. A lover of animal is philozoic. Fear of writing graph is phobia. Study of sound is phonetics or acoustics. The science of judging of person's character, capabilities, phrenology. The study of human face is physiognomy. The science dealing with the functioning of the organism is physiology. Ride on someone's back is piggyback. The thief who cheats without using violence. A thief who steals without using violence is pilferer. One who journeys to a holy place is pilgrim. One who does something first, pioneer. Act of turning hostility into friendly feeling is placation. Placation. Literary theft or passing off an author's original work as a one's own is plagiarism. Someone who uses another person's words or ideas as if they were his own is plagiarist. Ordinary remark often repeated. Platitudes, commonplace remarks, platitudes, egg-laying mammals, platypus. A decision made by votes of all qualified citizens is plebiscite. Person within full discriminatory power to act on behalf of a country is plenipotentiary. Use of more words than are needed to express the meaning is pleonasm. Government by the rich, plutocracy. Stand for a speaker, podium. The practice of marrying more than one husband at a time is polyandry. The practice of marrying more than one wife at a time is polygamy, bahuvivah. One who speaks many languages is polyglot. A figure which many angles or side is polygon. A place where ships seek shelter is port that can be carried easily, portable. A number of policemen called to quell a riot is pose. A child born after the death of his father or the book published after the death of writer is posthumous. A book published after the death of its author is posthumous. Next, 801. An examination of dead bodies post-mortem. A note appended to a letter after the signature is postscript. Something which can be taken for granted is postulate. Fit to drink, portable. A book or picture produced merely to bring in money is port boiler. A person concerned with the practical results and values, pragmatist. Any animal that lives by preying on other animals is predator. To form an opinion against anybody baselessly is prejudice. Explicit understanding to do something, promise, prohibition. against something injurious, proscription, take legal action against somebody's, prosecute, woman who offers the use of her body for sexual intercourse to anyone who will pay for this is prostitute, food for farm animal is provender, one who studies the pattern of voting in election is psephologist. The branch of sociology that studies election trend is psephology, an imaginary name assumed by an author for disguises pseudonym. One who treats mental and emotional disturbances, psychiatrist. One who studies the science of mind is psychologist. Antisocial person who may commit criminal act, psychopath or sociopath. Inclined to fight or be aggressive, pugnacite, pugnacity. One who is particular about the purity of one's language is purist. I am not. One who pretends skills in medicines and surgery. Quack. Animal having 4 foot is quadrupeds. An act of separation from other person to avoid infection is quarantine. Stanza 4 line is quatrain. Formulated series of questions. Questionnaire. A feather used as a pen is quill. Fixed number of person that must be pretend to make proceedings valid is quorum. People in rowdy signs. Rebel. Emission of light or heat from central point is radiation. Lottery, in which an article is assigned by a lot to one of those buying tickets. Raffle or draw, to use a woman by force. I don't want to say. One who takes up arms against government is rebel. Person who lives alone and avoid others is recluse. Too much official formalities, tapism. Dressed with medals, ribbons worn at official ceremonies is regalia. Murder of king or queen is regicide. Regicide. Give back to the users their youthful vigor and appearance is rejuvenate. Rejuvenate. One who forsakes religion, renegade. Witty, clever, retort, repenty. A light sailing boat built specially for racing yacht, atonement for one's sin, repentance, a state in which supreme power is held by the people and their elected representatives, and which has an elected or nominated president rather than a monarch, republic, signing brilliant and magnificent, resplendent, give teeth for tat, retaliate, person who is reserved in talks, reticent, a lady's purse, reticule, which takes effect from some earlier dates, retrospective, a radical change or political upheaval, revolution, the art of elegant speech or writing, rhetoric, an intelligent and obedient machine like a man robot. A string of beds used for counting prayers, rosary, violating or profaning religious things or place, sacrilege, one who helps others good, Samaritan, a place for the sick to recover health, sanatorium, a place of refuge recognized as a secure sanctuary, a platform for hanging criminals, scaffold, one who is given to questioning the truth of facts and the sounds of interference, septic, someone who knows a lot about subject, scholar, write hurriedly or carelessly in regards the handwriting, scribble, one who cuts in stones, sculptor, which does not favor any one religion, secular, an instrument for measuring movement of the ground, seismograph, one who studies the meaning of the words, cementist, cementist, music played or sung at a night below a person's window, serenade, serenade, breeding of silkworm for silk production, sericulture. A stanza of 6 lines is sestast, in case in which the sword is kept. A case in which the sword is kept is sheath. A case in which the blade of the sword is kept sheath. Scrap bird also same. Okay, let's move on. Cutting all the waste paper into pieces, shredding. A woman with peevish nature screw. Go back and forth. Subtle sleep, enjoying in the afternoon. Sista. A portrait of a person with only the outline of the profile silhouette happening at the same time simultaneous, a job with high salary but little responsibilities, sinecure, someone who imports or exports without paying duties, a smuggler, one who despises persons of lower social position, snob, one who studies social conditions, sociologist, a short stay at the place, sojourner, eclipse of sun, solar, speaking himself when alone, solitude, a piece of music by one person, solo, sleepwalking, somnambulism, a person who walks in sleep, somnambulist, talking in sleep, somniloquist, a person who talks in sleep is somniloquist. Yes, somni means in sleep. This is a root word. So you can easily remember all this using this root word. Causing or tending to cause sleep. Soporific. Soporific. Killing of one sister. Sorrowcide. Murder of sister. Sorrowcide. One who is a habitual drunkard. Sort or topper. One who is a habitual drunker. Sort topper. 2 times repeated. Okay. A thing kept as a reminder of a person, place, or event is souvenir. Image formed by rays of light is spectrum. A person who spends his money recklessly. Spendthrift, prodigal. Lady who remains unmarried, spinster. One who speaks on behalf of other spokesman. A place for horses, a stable. To make free from living germs or bacteria, sterilize one who loads and unloads sepsis, stevedore, a person who insists on something, stickler. Thank you for continuing with me. We have already almost completed 901 word substitutions. Here I'm going through and through. There might be some mistakes, please ignore it. Our sole purpose is to uh, complete or revise. This video I'm creating for revision purpose, so go through and through. You can increase speed if you want. Here one very wonderful quotation: emotions are essential part of human intelligence. Without emotional intelligence, artificial intelligence is incomplete. So, my dear friend, we are left with only 100. and we are going to complete it right now. So just be with me. Let's revise it. A mark of shame, stigma, a person who is indifferent to pleasure and pain and has control over his passions. Stoic, indifferent to pleasure or pain, stoicism. Walk in a vain or selfless ways, truth. A very unnatural slumber, stupor. A place where pigs are kept, submarines operates below the surface of the sea is called subterranean. Murder of oneself, suicide, a substitute, surrogate. Surrogacy, you have might listen this word, surrogacy, where another woman gives birth to another woman's child by just act transferring. The last work of a writer is Swan Song. Large group of insect moving in a mass swarm. A boastful fellow. Swashbuckler. To slap with a flat object is sweat. Occurring at the same time or rate is synchronous. A council of clergymen. Synod. Words which has the same meaning is synonyms. A place where leather is tanned. Tannery. The art of preserving skin is taxidermy. One who does not take alcoholic drink is teetotaler. One who does not take any intoxicating drink is teetotaler. Actually, repeated words. Power of reading thoughts of others is telepathy. An instrument of seeing a distant object is telescope. One who enjoys talking about others' private affairs is tell tell. A noisy, quarrelsome woman and screw. It is termagant. Station at the end of a route is terminus. Fear of death is thanatophobia. One who believes in the existence of God or gods is theist. Government by religious principle is theocracy. Government by the gods is therarchy. An instrument for measuring temperature is thermometer. Fasten or secure with a rope, string, or cord, tie. One who always runs away from danger is timid. Pleasurable stimulation, titillation, existing only in name is titular. A dull, heavy book, tome. One who is habitual drunken, topper or sort. Art of cutting trees and bushes into ornamental shape is topiary, a writing which ends in death or sorrow, tragedy. Allowing lights to pass through diffusely, translucent. The doctrine that human souls pass from one body to another at a time of death is transmigration. A drawing on transparent paper is transparency, that which can be seen through. Transparent, an event which happens once in a 3 years. Triennial, triennial. A group of three novels is trilogy. Having three legs is tripod. Fear of numbers is triskaidekaphobia. A person students who absents himself from class or duty without permission is truant. Plain or self-evident truism, confidence, response in person by making them nominal honor, trust. A disloyal person who betrays or deserts his cause is turncoat. Two children born together, twins, signs of printing is typography, found or present everywhere. ubiquitous, all of one mind, unanimous, incapable of being avoided, unavoidable, decision taken by one side only, unilateral, belonging to all part of the world, universal, having information till today, up to dates, the study of mountains, urology, one who lends money at a higher rate of interest is usurer, a person who seizes something without the right to do so, usurper, an imaginary perfect social and political system, utopia, murder of wife, uxoricide, and one extremely fond of one's wife is uxorious. Change one's mind too quickly is vacillation. A person who lives a wandering life is vagabond. A farewell speech is valedictory. Weak or sickly person, especially one morbidly concerned with his or her health, valetudinarian, or one someone who willfully destroys or defects property, vandal, someone who eats no meat or fish is vegetarian, a fault that may be forgiven, venial, the meat of deer is venison, performer who projects the voice into a wooden dummy is ventriloquist, repetition of word by word for words is verbatism, style full of words, verbose,